August 22nd, 2016. Guys, you're looking at the latest information this morning, and I wanted to get it so we get the most accurate update. You're seeing Fiona, and it's been downgraded to a tropical depression, no longer a storm. That may change as it gets into warmer waters. The front storm, the one I'm most concerned with, is just at a 20% chance in 48 hours of development. It's in dry air. This thing looks like it's going to maintain its integrity until it gets a little further to the west, and you'll see the difference in the 5-day forecast here. The big storm that was behind it is at a 100% chance of becoming a tropical cyclone and within 48 hours. That does not change in the 5-day forecast. But what's happening is the front storm in the Yellow X Invest 99 is going to move into moist waters and moisture atmosphere, much more conducive, as they say, for tropical cyclone development. 5-day forecast. You've got a 50% chance here, and still the Invest 90 that's behind it is a 100% chance. Notice it's not quite as a northerly track as it was in the as it was coming off Africa. It showed it jumping above 99 a little harder as far as the northern track, but some of the models still show it going into the Atlantic and growing very large and then curving back. Guys, just in the UK, in that area, watch if this thing recurves. You're going to get major flooding and high winds. But there, right there, you can see the shearing as we pull it up of Tropical Depression Fiona. Below it is Invest 99, guys, and it's wrapping so much tighter than it was yesterday. But it's getting closer to the islands, and that's going to give it a lot better chance. We'll back out on the wide view again. Fiona getting stripped down in that middle section, 99 below it, and 90 coming off the African coast. And you can tell by the effect in the atmosphere it's a larger storm from here. And guys, there may be one or two more behind it on the African continent. We'll look at a couple of those models, but some of the radar even indicates that. It's almost like after about 12 years since a major hurricane as far as our area back in when we had Ivan and Katrina back to back. And then we had Sandy up on the East Coast. And all of the models show impact in some areas. Now, they vary. And, the scariest one I'll show you, that's for you guys in Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Florida area. One is a direct impact, and that's the front storm Invest 99. See that. That's highly concerning because that is my area. Katrina got us. Ivan got us. It just goes back to 79 Frederick, 69 Camille. Pretty hard storms, and I'm sure I'm leaving some out. Let's look at a different satellite, Meteosat 8. This is giving us the African continent. What you're seeing coming off the coast is Invest 90. It's behind 99. But notice the radar on the African continent in the last frames. It's already piling up again. And the pink area is the sun heating that section of Africa. And that's really the generator where this starts, guys, that heat. Now let's look at the water vapor. You've got, you can see the shearing effect in the middle left there of Fiona. You have to look closely to see the islands down in the bottom and then the edge of the U.S. in the top left. Then you see Invest 99 below Fiona. Guys, that thing's starting to wrap up. Look at the difference in the water vapor. The red areas are the drier areas, and that's what is one of the reasons it has not formed faster. Don't let it fool you. It's starting to pull moisture bands in from the south, and so is the storm behind it, Invest 90. The Invest 90 should be named by the end of the day. It may go straight from an invest very quickly through the tropical depression to the storm. But this is Fiona models. Notice this. One in the purple curve is the Canadian model that some of our other models are based on. Then you've got three that hold it right there and then shoot it across the Florida Peninsula. Now, most of the models do look like it's going to go up the East Coast if it maintains integrity. That purple line and the two beside it showing affecting Bermuda, then coming back out into the Atlantic. There's some amazing models we're going to go through. This is Invest 99, the storm below Fiona, the one I'm most concerned with for the U.S., and you can see the different areas. CMC, a Canadian model, is not showing a tracking point. Notice about halfway through this, there at the bottom, and then it comes up into the middle. But you've got that blue line right there is the one that concerns me the most because some of the others match that one. That's the BAMS site. That's one we'll pay attention to. This one is Invest 90 behind it, which again I think that name will be changed into a storm or depression soon. But it has a more northerly track. Notice that going up into the Atlantic. Guys, this could merge with the remnants of Fiona. And if they do merge, guys, again, watch the British Isles. Now, this is very interesting, couple frames here. You notice a storm coming over the tip of Florida. Now, it's still somewhat disorganized, but again, this is a model. But as soon as it touches that Gulf Stream and clears the Florida Peninsula, it does that recurve, and you see massive strengthening. Again, the water temperatures being reported in the upper 80s there, but when you get close to the beach, Pensacola's at 90 degrees water temperature. Look at that. And you notice that bright pink spot as it's coming on land. That's an increase in water, precipitable water. And you also see the bands lowering the millibars of pressure. Guys, remember this image, and I hope that this thing recurs, because with the floods that we just had in Mississippi, Louisiana, Texas has been getting them. We've had enough water. But we're just going to have to watch the models. Remember how they've changed a little each day, and I said they would in the video 2 days ago. Very concerning. The large storm is headed for the UK. If it goes just above the UK, guys, that right front quadrant is the strongest. I know that. Also, as this happens, and you see the storm hit the Mississippi-Alabama line, look over at the African coast. It's the model showing 1 to 2 more storms coming over. And that, see that storm? It's also predicted. It's a long way out, but it's predicted to merge up into and give the UK. Man, you could get some record rains and floods, and depending on how your temperature holds up, what all you do get. Now, if you look at the barometric pressure, lower pressure is in the blues, and it goes up from there. That line has slightly changed. It was the top of that section was more up into the Carolinas. Now it's down into the Florida area, and that may have a lot to do with Invest 99 going into the Gulf. But if you look at the water temperatures, this is buoy data, you're going from the mid-Atlantic at 82, and right where 99 is going into the West Atlantic, right there, you got a 2-degree jump. That's a lot. Then it just increases. When it comes across the tip of Miami, if it does, you're into 89-degree water, and 87, 86, and again, right on the beaches, we're getting 90-degree temperature readings on some of the local news stations. So the energy is there. The time of the year is perfect. This is the area when we get some major, major storms. I think August 30th, right in that area, wasn't that Katrina, guys? But and then Ivan was in mid-September. Not positive, just check it out. But as it comes in, that's a particularly good chart there, your wave height. Now, this is showing the wave height, and mostly is showing that larger storm coming behind 99. This thing starts, again, coming across the islands, and you see that top right band. And then the model stops. But the top right band near the Florida coast would be the right front quadrant. This is wave. And this monster that they're showing coming up into the Atlantic, guys, you're getting into 37, 40-foot wave heights there. And then again, but this model is slightly different. It's CMC model also. You look at the storm coming up the coast, not quite hitting Florida, guys. Look down in that area. Then it merges with the remnants of Fiona, which are still striking up the East Coast, raking through there, merging with the larger storm, and then headed across the Atlantic. You also see disturbances off of the African coast in that area in the last few frames coming off. So we got a few different models. Again, they're all concerning. Now let's look over at California and the wildfires. They're letting some folks back into that canyon fire, and you can see that it's still burning, but I think some of the areas north of there may be where they're opening up and letting more people in. But pay attention to it, guys, because it's still large. If you can see it from the satellite, you've got significant fire there. And you've got fires breaking out also up in Washington, west of the fires we've been watching in Utah. But check this out as this cloud cover comes in. That needs to be moisture. I don't think there's much there. But right there in Washington State. There's a couple of other ones, but this seems to be the largest. You know where your area is at. This is almost due west of the Oregon fires, but as again the cloud cover moves over, you can see it. Now, if we move over into Utah, the fire doesn't seem to be as strong. These are the last frames. Let's play it back for a couple of days, but it has moved a little further south and moving to the east with the wind there. First frames, we're seeing it where it was puffed up in that national forest. It seems to be close to the highway that moves north and south. And then in the last frames, the central section is a little weaker, but the bottom section seems to be picking up. Be aware of that. That's that national park. As we're watching this, we're watching those storms. Both could be deadly. A fire is just as deadly as a hurricane. It can demolish your house. It can kill you. It doesn't use flooding. It uses fire. So don't play with either one. There's still people not heeding the mandatory evacuations for some of these fire areas. And I read an article which is interesting. It could be very true that because more people are getting into the lower economic class, in other words, the middle class is being destroyed, there's more and more homeless and more people that depend on campgrounds and to survive. And some have campers, some just tents, some backpacks. And some of these fires have been started that way. And economics are economics, guys, but be careful. It's a heads up. Be safe.